What we have today is no less than the future of BMW. It's called the iX. It's an all-electric, all-wheel drive crossover, and we have a full review right now on Driving Sports GT. With the iX here, BMW is putting sustainability at the top of their priority list. Here are just a few examples. The motors are developed in-house by BMW. Unlike traditional electric motors, these don't use any rare earth materials. BMW oversees material acquisition for the lithium and cobalt required for the batteries to make sure that the labor force involved is treated fairly. Even the floor mats are made from recycled fishing nets. In fact, 20% of the thermoplastics and 50% of the aluminum in this vehicle come from recycled sources. Of course, this iX also costs $101,020 US as you see it here. So along with sustainability, BMW is also putting in a generous amount of advanced luxury. But let's start with the basics, the powertrain. You can't open the hood, so I'll just tell you that this iX xDrive50 features a pair of electric motors, the front producing up to 255 horsepower and another in the back good for up to 308. Together, BMW says that's 516 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. The standard lithium-ion battery pack has 105 kilowatt hours of usable capacity, giving the iX xDrive50 up to 324 miles of range, which is more range than many petrol-powered SUVs. The battery can DC fast charge at a rate up to 200 kilowatts, bringing it from 10 to 80% in just 35 minutes. The 11 kilowatt level 2 home charger takes 11 hours for a full charge. Of course, the 5,000-pound elephant in the room are the looks. Polarizing. I will just call them polarizing. The wheels on our test car are 22-inch alloys, and they are pretty cool looking, I think. The tires are Bridgestone Alenzas, and they are in a 275/40 R22 fitment. Of course, the iX uses a standard CCS plug for DC fast charging. You can also charge off of AC with the included 11 kilowatt cable. Of course, this being a crossover, it has a very usable boot. Cargo capacity is 33.5 cubic feet behind the second row. Fold all the rows down for up to 77.9 cubic feet overall. Under the floor, we have a fix-a-flat kit. We also have a charging cable. Now let's check the second row. Carbon fiber. This leather, it feels really good. It's quilt stitched and it's just so soft to the touch. Seat is comfortable. I get 3 stages of heat on it as well, plus my own aircon down there. Right here I have 2 USB-C plugs for power. Bowers & Wilkins speaker right here. I also get a fold-down armrest with integrated cup holders. Now above me is this glorious panorama sunroof, and I'll tell you why it's so cool in just a minute when I move up front. Oh, and to get out, it's a push button. Okay, that was pretty good. Now let's see what it looks like up front. Hello. Okay. Hello, front seat, and hello to the future. Oh, good. The future has a place to put my iPhone. That's good. Let's power this up. Okay, what do we got here? Well, we have a square steering wheel. It's not a yoke, but it's not round either. This curved display, some people will say it looks tacked on. I think it actually looks kind of airy, and it makes this interior just feel a lot more open, breezy, kind of nice. Not a big fan of that big speaker grill showing up there, though. That's a little bit much. As you probably noticed, there's a lot of gold accents on this particular vehicle. Now, the iX does start in the mid 80,000s. This one has lots of options, so it's pushing north of 100,000. And that is a lot of money. So you know, BMW really had to go out there and do something special. And they did it. You know, everything from the crazy chassis design to this very ultra modern interior. Let's first look at this gauge cluster. It is customizable. You hit a little menu button here, and then you can pop through a few different options. We have content. You can do everything from economy to the safety systems. I can also see road signs, maps, or what music I'm playing. It's a pretty useful layout. The next one over allows me to change the layout, and there are 3 very distinct designs. And I don't need 100 designs, but I need 3 good ones. And I feel like we have 3 very modern yet functional displays here. They didn't just take the displays from their normal gas-powered cars, they came up with something new. One other thing I can adjust here is the heads-up display information, and this is one of the best looking heads-up displays I've seen. It's gorgeous. It really mimics the same kind of design philosophy as the main gauge cluster, and I can adjust what type of view I want to see or turn it off completely if I so prefer, which is great. Now in this gauge cluster, we have MPH on the left, and then we also have power percentages on the right, as well as regen. And then in the bottom left, I can see how much battery is left. Right now we're looking at 89% of this current charge, which yields me 288 miles. This does have north of 300 miles for total range. Of course, that is very much dependent on how you drive. Over here, I think this is one of my favorite things, the natural wood with printed on buttons integrated, seamless. There's seamless buttons in the wood. That just to me seems very cool. They're a little hard to glance at and read, but you can feel them. They have actual feel, and that's really important when you're trying to find finger placement while busy driving. And of course, they also have a really nicely integrated volume knob. I'm not messing with the touch screen up here at all. I can click it and it mutes. Down here, I can also control ride height. I can turn on the parking system, which is really quite cool. We have a really nice surround view, excellent rear view front cameras, and I can even dive deeper into the menu to see a 3D view of the vehicle, which I can then use this to look around it. Or I can also gesture if I want, but I'm not sure why anybody would, why would you do this? Just use your fingertips. It's a better interface. I can also go to a car wash view, which is useful because car wash view will actually raise the suspension up slightly so you're not going to drag, and then it also gives me tracking lines so that I can really come in center onto that track. Now, of course, this is equipped with all the latest and greatest active safety equipment beyond just the cameras. We have collision mitigation, blind spot warning, pedestrian detection, rear cross traffic alerts, and it also has adaptive cruise control. In terms of bins, we got lots of space here because, of course, it's a skateboard style chassis design, so there's no need for a central tunnel. I can just put my foot over there if I really wanted. I have lots of room for cup holders. I have down here a wireless charging pad, and then I also have 2 USB-Cs, and a rarity for electric cars, I have a 12-volt adapter as well. The seats, super plush. They feel very nice. I have these crystal controls to adjust seating position. I can also save it. What's that button do? Oh, that's a quick key to the driver's seat. Now, with the quick key, I can load this up, and I have some more advanced features with the seat. And by advanced features, I mean massage units. Well, before we get to the massage units, we can also use the screen controls here to adjust everything. The important thing is the massage unit. So we can turn that on. We got different levels of massage. We also have different programs. Love it. Now back to the main menu. Let's dip into this infotainment system a little bit more. Even though visually it looks very different from the iDrive that we've used in the past, it's actually the same thing. It's just a new generation of it. So we have new graphics, but same basic functionality. We have a tray with menus on the left, and then we can dive deeper into those by jogging the control over and then scrolling through them. And there's a lot of stuff here. So much stuff. So I'm just going to touch on some of the basics. First off, let's look at navigation. From here, let's use voice commands to navigate to go get some coffee. Hey BMW, go find some coffee.
I have found several destinations.
Yeah, that might have been a little too vague. Let's try another search. Hopefully this won't be more successful. Hey BMW, navigate to Victor's Coffee.
Okay, I've selected
Go
Victor's
there.
Celtic Coffee.
I love the fact that I can interrupt the voice. I don't have to listen to it continue everything if I know what I want to do next. I can go ahead and cancel that, so that works pretty good. Let's see what else the voice commands can do. Hey BMW, set my temperature to 69 degrees.
Okay, 69 degrees Fahrenheit.
Good, you can do that. Going down the option here. Now, if we click into menu, we actually get a ton of other stuff here. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, yada, yada, seat level, live vehicle. Like I was saying, there's just so much stuff in this system. This video would be more than an hour long if I went into all of these menu options. Frankly, there are too many menu options. But let's just go into Apple CarPlay and see how that works. So once I turn on Bluetooth, I can select my device. Let's use Hey Siri with the thing, activate and continue, confirm, pair. Great, and there we go, super easy. That is a widescreen display. And then from here, I can, of course, use the built-in iPhone apps, including, been using Electrify America a lot lately, because they have some good new stations in the area. So from here I could find easy like quick charge stations, or I could just use the standard Apple stuff. Hey, I could even use OnX's app, although you don't off-road an iX. 22-inch wheels, summer tires, that's just not a good combination. That's a very expensive off-road adventure. So yeah, pretty nice little setup. Go back to BMW here. So diving back into this, of course, we have media where we can do Apple CarPlay or all these other different types of inputs. We have navigation. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. If I want climate menu, I can click on this. And now I have even more buttons. That's a bit of a mess. Look at all of these options. I mean, when you actually get to know it, it kind of makes sense. Heated steering wheel, heated seat, cooled seats, standard fan functions. I mean, it's all pretty straightforward. One other thing, the panorama skylight here will actually mist over. Put my hand up here, wiggle my fingers around, hit that, and boom, you can't see it anymore. Hit it again, now you can see it. It's really cool for bright days. If it's just too much sun coming in, you can just do that. And you don't need to worry about having a physical shade open and close. It's just digital. The future, man, it's crazy. Now, if you thought we were done going through all the features, there's one more thing I want to talk about before we go for a drive, and that's the modes. There are several drive modes on this vehicle: personal, sport, and efficient. They do what you think they do. And I can actually go into sport and modify the settings, and this is where you can see all the different parts of the vehicle that the modes touch. Drivetrain, we have sport and comfort. If you want maximum output, you have to have it in sport. Driving dynamics, again, sport and sport plus. Now, sport plus will actually reduce traction control, which is good if you want to like drive aggressively and have a little bit of tossability. That's what you have to select. Steering, sport will tighten it up. Damping, these are adjustable dampers, and they're also height adjustable. So that's a good thing. What else do we have? Seat support. So the driver's seat will actually grab you a little bit more so you're not sliding around so much with this setting. So it'll feel the G-forces and then compensate by keeping you in your seat. That's not a new thing. BMWs have offered that for a while. Nice to see it here. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. But now if we go to efficient, can we adjust that? No. How about personal? No. Basically, you have to be in sport mode to adjust things, which is fine. You know, the other settings are, I think, adequate. You also have a pull-down menu to change your user profile, as well as if you just want to turn off your screen, or if you don't want to be disturbed. It's not going to send up any incoming calls or anything, which is really nice if you're out for a track day. You don't want to take a call on turn 7, for example. Let's go ahead and turn that back on so I don't forget. Do not disturb. Boom, I got to forget. It's over here. It's not over here. Okay, so that is a surface level look at all the stuff that we have going on here. Time to take it for a drive. Of course, you don't have to spend $100,000 to get a Model iX. You could spend a lot less and get a pretty nicely equipped vehicle. They actually start at $83,200 plus $995 for destination, which isn't bad considering what you're getting. I mean, all-wheel drive, lots of horsepower, tons of torque, and over 300 miles of range, which is much better than most SUVs that you can buy today. Like, I'm talking petrol ones. Driving this is actually pretty nice. The power that's on tap is just phenomenal. Still not really sold on this shape of steering wheel. It kind of reminds me of a yoke, not in a good way. It's just kind of, I mean, my hands fall nice in this position, but you know, when you're doing hand over hand, it's just really lumpy because of course it's not a wheel. If this was a wheel, it wouldn't work very well as a wheel. And speaking of the wheel, the controls for the adaptive cruise control and the menu, it's kind of a cheap, chintzy little plastic that they have here. Considering the high quality materials found throughout the rest of the vehicle, these little buttons just seem like a miss. And it's too bad because my fingers are always touching them. I guess you could say that's one thing that Mercedes actually gets really good, is all the little touch points are really, really nice. And speaking of the adaptive cruise control, we can give that a try right now, because yes, this has it, and yes, it was an option. It does not come standard on the iX. They're killing me. So if I hit the button here and then I hit set, I can set my speed, but beyond that, I can also set what kind of adaptive cruise control I want to use. I could be either distance control, which is just your standard adaptive cruise, or I can do assisted driving mode, and that will take the wheel essentially and track me straight between the lines. And I get this really cool heads-up display showing me where the other vehicles are in relationship to me, and it's also telling me to put my hands back on the wheel because it is not a true autonomous system. It is merely an assist. And for interstate travel, those type of systems, excellent. And this one works really well. So on a twisty road here, we can try out the different drive modes. I hit my modes. Let's try personal, which is the standard drive mode. This is kind of a relaxed setting, you know. Even on 22-inch wheels, the suspension is still smooth, which is nice. The steering is gradual. Yeah, this is pretty good. And it's so quiet in this thing. It's just really, really refined. Turn in, it's very nice. Throttle, still tons of torque. So much torque, all the torques. Okay, we'll flip this around and then we'll try it in sport mode and see how that does. Okay, let's switch my mode and we'll go to sport, select that. See, lump, lump, lump. Whoa, power, ooh, so much power. Woo! Steering is definitely firmer. I love the feeling of the steering wheel actually, it's really good. I can really feel where my wheels are. Oh, yeah, that's nice. That's nice. It also firms up the suspension because not only is it height adjustable, the dampers can also be adjusted as well. Lump, lump, lump. I'm just lumping this steering wheel around. Round wheels, BMW. We don't need this shape. It's only comfortable in one position. Of course, if you are like full throttling it everywhere you go, you're gonna lose miles. You just are. When I received this vehicle, we had north of 300 miles range. Now we're already down to 222, but I have been driving a little bit in filming today, so that's not exactly like, you know, it wasn't just that jaunt. It's been a bunch of driving today. While we're in sport mode here, let's try a quick 0 to 60. See what we got. Complete stop. 3, 2, 1, floor it. Whoa, my face. And 60. Wow, 4.12 seconds. Is that quick enough for you? It should be. Let's floor it. Whoa, that's frisky. Now you gotta keep in mind, even though it's fast, it weighs more than 5,600 pounds. That is a lot of heft. Now it's not quite Hummer levels of heft, but it's up there, which means that you just have physics fighting you on every corner. So if you're looking for a vehicle that's going to be a really tight handling package in an electric car, this isn't it. However, if you do want something that you have lots of room to throw all your gear and your kids, but isn't physically a massive vehicle, this one I think is a right-sized crossover for people who want that electric lifestyle. And of course, everything is very modern. I also want to point out right now, I'm getting tons of glare off this windshield where these speaker grills are. Like, the speaker grills look as vivid to me as the heads-up display. In normal driving, you have your foot on, it accelerates, of course. Take your foot off the throttle and it regens, but just slightly. If you want to have way more aggressive regen, you can turn on B mode. Coming up to a stop sign, take my foot off the throttle. Actually, just throttle up and then take the foot off the throttle together. Oh, yeah, and it stops completely. So that is officially a one-pedal mode. So this BMW iX does have another party trick, and that is, let me show you. Hey, BMW, navigate to the nearest Starbucks.
I have found several.
Okay, so we've now navigated to the nearest Starbucks, just because I needed to navigate to something. What? Look at that!
If possible.
That's awesome! So now I'm going to go ahead and set cruise control. It's telling me what my next direction is here.
700 feet, turn right at the traffic light onto Washington 202.
I have auto steer turned on. And it should,
at the traffic light
it didn't slow down for that corner.
202.
Some corners, I have read, the system will identify the turn and slow down appropriately. It didn't do that there, so I'm guessing it's probably for major highways. Many of these systems do rely on that. But still, love this system, love that display, that is great. I really look forward to more systems doing this. I even like it how they have a flying V just like with its shadow there. That's pretty cool. I mean, I guess I would call that augmented reality as well too, just you're looking at it on a screen instead of IRL, which is cool. Yeah, like it. Comparing this to many of the other electrics that we've driven recently, like the Mercedes-Benz EQS, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, these are all very good electric cars and they're all very different. I don't think that you would be confused as to which one you want to drive after you drive each. They all have excellent all-wheel drive setups. They're all very tech forward, although I would say the Ioniq is probably the most traditional in terms of car setups. This one's pretty traditional too, but it has lots of just really cool stuff that you don't get on other BMWs. So yeah, I mean, overall, I'm really excited, not just about this car, but also just about the future of electric cars in general. I love the torque, I love the performance. Here in the Pacific Northwest, a lot of our power grid is green and is really, really cheap. So we kind of have an advantage here compared to some of the states that might rely on coal or something like that. But the neat thing about electric cars is if you buy an electric car today, even if your state generates a lot of power with coal, they can change that. They can put up solar panels, or you can add solar panels to your house to charge it. So basically you can change to be a more green charging setup. Whereas you buy a petrol car, you're stuck with petrol. That's it. Now, I'm not hating on petrol. I love petrol. Trust me, I love petrol. But I gotta say, there's something just unique and exciting about electric cars, and especially this new iX. We got one more test here. I don't want to let you down, and I know you guys really enjoy this one. We're gonna try a gravel slip test. Now, granted, this thing, yeah, it's on summer tires, but I think it'll be okay. Now it appears we have some branches down on the road, so I'm going to go ahead and raise this up to high level. I just toggle that and it rises up on the air suspension. Oh yeah, plenty of ground clearance. So we're only going to do one slip test here. And I am going to leave traction control on because I do not want a gravel machine gun, completely obliterating the paint. That's just not fair. So we're just going to put it into sport mode, put it into drive. I'm just going to mosh the throttle. We're going to see how well this does. 3, 2, 1, go. Woohoo! I think we should try it without traction control, or at least, with sport traction control, because that just wasn't a lot of wheel spin. It really, really clamped down on any excitement there. Let's see how this changes the system. 3, 2, 1, go. What? Okay, that's a little more wheel spin. If we're going to be completely honest, though, I have to say the Hyundai Ioniq did way better in that test, because when you had traction off, it was off, which was kind of nuts. Of course, the Ioniq 5 also costs half as much as this car, so there's that. Of course, we haven't burned the battery down too far, and considering the iX can charge at a rate of 200 kilowatts, it won't take us very long to top this up. I'm going to give EVgo a try here. I did take the Mercedes-Benz EQS here, and this particular charger failed every single time. So we'll see if they fixed it since I was here last. And unfortunately, it's the only 350 that's available right now, so fingers crossed. Whereas Electrify America lets you just basically tap it with your mobile device, with EVgo, the easiest way to do it is to just open up the app and engage the device. Oh, we gotta plug it in first. CCS in the hole. There we go. So this one is called Anoush. So let's give that a try. We're at the Whole Foods Bellevue. Is that really Anoush? And Anoush says it's busy and isn't actually functioning right now. Early infrastructure, man, kind of sucks. Hopefully we have better luck this time. Open it up, grab the CCS combo. Okay, so this is AL, CCS combo, go, confirm, start charging. Hey, we're blue. According to the system, we have 65%, and it is currently crawling along because it's just warming up. So currently it's outputting at 100 kilowatts. Now this vehicle can take up to 200 kilowatts, which actually puts it pretty high in terms of how much power it can pack into the battery all at once. So we're rolling along at about 100, 110 kilowatts, which is pretty good. We're at 68%, and we should be able to get, over 80% in probably about 20 minutes tops. So I'm gonna go in, get a coffee, come back, and I'll be ready to go. So the BMW iX, pretty good option if you are in the market for a vehicle that costs north of $100,000 with a few options. If not, I will recommend the Ioniq 5. That is still an excellent option. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share videos. We make them for you, and I hope you enjoy them.